entirely comply with the Paris Principles. It's also, as you will very much be aware, it's also, I mean, whatever human rights work you do, you also are aware that it's highly dependent on the national framework and the realities on the ground. I think an NHRI can certainly only that effectively operate in a country where you have minimum requirements of human rights culture, including the rule of law, the political will, and a strong and very vibrant civil society. Certainly independence is also one of the major limitations and challenges around national human rights institutions, and although the ICC has made a lot of efforts in strengthening its accreditation process to ensure that NHRIs are independent and effective and meet the Paris Principles, the process itself may also have its limitations. But also, again, certainly the NHRI is only given as much power as the states wish to confer to it. And unfortunately, we've seen, particularly I think in the African region, some NHRIs that were very, very strong national institutions be challenged by the state with wishing to interfere with that independence, because they just realize right now, these states, what type of strong institution they've created. So there's a little bit of a trend we've observed to weaken down this institution for them not to be actually as strong as we would like to see them. And then, sadly, also more recently, a case of reprisals. And I know this has happened for many civil society actors engaging with the international human rights system and the UPR, but you might be aware there has been a case of reprisals against the Maldives Human Rights Commission. They've submitted their UPR report in which they've criticized the judicial system and particularly the Supreme Court for lack of independence, and they've been summoned by that Supreme Court for high treason and may risk life imprisonment as chairpersons and commissioners of that commission. So that's a very, very serious case, and the international community has been mobilized to put pressure on the Maldives government to release these charges. But it's also obviously a very sensitive case because the Supreme Court is a supposedly independent judiciary that has undertaken this summoning. Okay, and then turning to one of my last slides, I'd just like to offer some suggestions to, be really interested in hearing from you about your experiences and how to engage with NHRIs. I mean, certainly we've observed as one of the very important developments around the UPR is the establishment of consultation mechanisms. And NHRIs would have a very important role in serving as a platform. And I would feel it's very important for NGOs to request that they are part of these consultation mechanisms, which ideally would have a mandate to discuss together about reporting to the international system, but also to discuss together and to coordinate implementation matters and follow-up strategies. I think we'd be very interested to hear from you about stories, challenges on engaging with national human rights institutions, and if there have been good stories, perhaps to share them with the broader NHRI community to develop best practice. I think there's a very important role for civil society to help the ICC strengthen its accreditation process and to provide information, be it to the UPR, to the treaty bodies, or to the accreditation process itself, so that the ICC can rely on that information and reviews a national human rights institution. There are regional meetings organized by the 4 regions of the ICC and NHRIs, and there's always space for participation of civil society. For instance, in the African region, there will be an NHRI forum preceding the next session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. And that NHRI forum will be held in connection with the NGO forum, so a great opportunity, I think, to engage with NHRIs. And then mutual support when under threat, where the relationship between civil society and NHRIs allows so, it might be important to discuss what type of support can be granted when one of these actors is under threat, as it engages on human rights matters, or perhaps also engages with at the international level, and to engage with others, perhaps also EU and Norway diplomatic representations together, so as to have a good network of support when such a case appears. Yeah. And then my last point is just that we have a web page, which not many people, I think, are aware of, sadly, because it provides quite a lot of information about national institutions, about the accreditation process, and also specifically about NHRIs and the UPR. Under engagement with the United Nations system, there's a specific section, NHRIs, where you find a lot of documents and handbooks and tools and some of these success stories that I've outlined. And also it contains a directory of all national institutions. So if you want to contact a specific NHRI, you can just have a look under the contact section and then just find their numbers. And yeah, I think that brings me to the end of my presentation, but certainly I'd be really looking forward to your comments and reactions and to engaging in the debate. Thank you so much for your attention.